Hello and good day to you. If you've been following the channel, you know we've been doing a series on lessons on the R programming language using the Excellent R Studio. If you watched the last couple of lessons, you know we've been talking about hypothesis testing, and you've learned about the student t-test, the Wilcox rank sum, and the Welch hypothesis test. And you learn to take two values, two different distributions, and compare them against each other. Now, what I'm about to show you is a very streamlined version of that test, which lets you take in a bunch of different values and compare them against each other all at the same time. I'm going to do that straight away, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. So we're using this split data that I created in Python, the key IMDb. And you will take a variable and assign it to the AOV brackets, the variable in the data that you're looking at, with the variable of the different labels or different values you're wanting to test against that denotes the different populations, and of course assigning the data packet to the data variable within the function. So that will produce a summary, and you'll get your p-value here. So the p-value is quite low, and that would make us interested in looking at the two-key HSD model, which is a function that will go and do pairwise standard deviation tests against all the different values. So as you can see, we've got Hulu and Disney. You've got a p-value of whether Hulu is different than Disney, Netflix and Disney, Prime Video and Disney, Netflix and Hulu. So out of them, you can see none of them are huge apart from this one. So if you were looking to, say, two different averages of entertainment packages were mainly were different enough to get different experiences out of, you could go back to your customer and say, well, we found an interesting place to look at the data from the ANOVA, and that's where we're going to start looking into and looking why there's a difference between the two. So hopefully that looks really simple to do, and hopefully that simplified your way of doing hypothesis testing. If I'd have showed you this first, you'd have thought it was magic, and you wouldn't have given much thought to how you do hypothesis testing, and I didn't want to do that to you. And beside this, you should still go back after having found Netflix and Hulu and do proper hypothesis tests with the student t-test or the Welch or the Wilcox rank sum, because you want more accurate values. And you should then start digging into your hypothesis and trying to explain, because it's not just enough to say that one is better than the other, or one has a difference in variance between them. You should want to get to the bottom of why. But hopefully that looked really easy, and you can sort of see some possible use case of working out from this. And you do have to bear in mind these are paired hypothesis tests. So if when we say one is different than the other, we're not saying compared to the shared population between all four of the entertainment packages. We're just saying between Netflix and Hulu. So hopefully that's got you thinking of some ways you could use that in how you work. It interests me. Hopefully you have a good day. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.